Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Carmen Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play the letter. So, as per usual, when you make a save in this game, you go back a couple of frames, I guess. So this is not where I ended off, because I just finished editing the last episode. So we are just, we have just left the cellar. We are going through the wine cellar. The dungeon going to the wine cellar. And then from there we're going to the kitchen, and then we're going into the Ermengarde mansion, and then we're going to confront Luke and Hannah Wright. Will they believe us? Will they come clean about the things that goes on in this house? We will only see. So, let's go. I was blinded, I admit. Now, I simply want this to be over. Here we go. We leave the door open in case there's a need for a quick exit, especially after she mentioned it's only by chance she has been able to open the door last time. We can't waste time finding the switch again on the occasion something goes horribly wrong. There's bound to be, with a feeling this high, strong, and tense. I'm not even sure why I thought it would be a good idea to enlist McCullough's help. Although she has been quite helpful so far, I can't shake off the horrible feeling something's going to happen to her if she stays with me. Even if I'm her safest bet if she wants to get out of this place alive.
You really believe that, don't you?
Oh. That is not the normal ghost, that is Marianne's ghost.
Did you say something?
McCullough's pauses mid-step, turning to me, confused.
I didn't.
You sure? I just heard...
Don't you think I'll be the first person who'll know? Look, the ladder leading to the kitchen's up ahead. You might want to hurry. I just want to be done with this place.
See? You dragged another one.
What does that mean? You dragged another one. What does that mean? This time, I'm sure. There's really a voice. Well, voices. Despite the look of protest McCullough shoots me, I find myself stopping and looking for it, searching the immediate surrounding for the familiar form of the woman. I don't even have to venture too far from where I'm standing. Oh. Just an arm's length away from me, mirror shards litter the floor. And right on the biggest fragments... they speak. The ghost, Rebecca, Zach, and I'm assuming Marianne's ghost. I don't remember if we got her name. We most likely did, but I don't remember it. They speak. All singing the same mocking tune against my ears, letting it echo throughout this small undercroft. Murmurs and laughters, jeering, scoffing and deriding. Lacing venom into every crevice in my head, taunting me.
Dragged another person into this, Ashton.
Into another one of your silly little problems.
All because you can't fix them on your own.
I do wonder what these pieces would have in them if if these guys had survived.
You really haven't changed, have you? Some hero you are.
Useless.
Pathetic.
You're wrong.
My mistake lies in this first instance I've answered. The very second denial slipped from my mouth, their words have also seeped into my heart, allowing it to prod at and rouse my temper. Despite knowing they are merely doing this to goad me, each word, each syllable trickled into me, spurring the guilt I hope I've long buried.
Are we? Or is that simply what you've been telling yourself all this time? Something to make yourself feel better, perhaps?
What about Zach? Wrongfully accused. And you couldn't even get him out.
What about Becca? Oh, the way she fell to her death, while all you did was watch. Someone's dead because of you.
You're the one who took that letter off Isabella's hand that day. You're the one who opened it.
How does it feel, I wonder, to know you're responsible for all of this?
What do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm still trying to fix this?
Oh, but you can't. It's already too late. And you know that. You know all of this is futile.
Okay, so of course the ghost would say that. But it also feels real. Did I already trigger Ashton's death moment? I don't think so.
Just face it, Ashton Frey. You're a failure, and they are the ones who have to pay for it.
A badge and a gun, and you still can't protect your own friends. Can't even solve a case for an old man.
Can't even bring Rook right to justice.
Can't even keep his own family together. No wonder they left you. Before you do the same thing to them.
Mom and Dad are better off without little old you, aren't they? It's a good thing they had the sense.
Pitiful, isn't it? Some detective you are. Some friend you are. Some son you are. You might as well just throw that rank away. You're no use to people either way.
Shut it!
I hate this. I hate how this monster can easily get through to me. Every weakness, every insecurity it knows. To hear it said in my friend's voice, even more so. But what I hate above all of it is...
You know it's true, though.
All of it. It's why all you can do is tell us to shut up. You don't want to hear a single word, because you're already aware of it. You can't even admit it to yourself. Who's the coward now?
But no matter how hard you try, you're not gonna be able to say it anymore.
Shut it! Not a single word anymore.
It laughs sharp and piercing. At its sound something in me snaps, a rage hastily unfurling, red filling my vision. And the next thing I know, I'm raising my hand and... something grabs at my wrist, followed by a buzz as another voice breaks through the haze.
Don't listen to it!
The fog from my mind lifts. Every sound, every noise returns to me, flooding my every senses. All at once there is this deafening silence. Slowly, I become aware of my surroundings. Bottles of wine, barrels of liquor, the faint old scent of death and decay somewhere, and a hand holding onto my wrist, as if to keep me from hurting myself. In my hands, a shard. Blood drips from where it has cut in my palm, trailing down my wrist until it disappears behind my sleeve. Not too deep, negligible even. There is a pain, however, a different kind. An ache somewhere else that stems not from the wound, but where every single word is hit. When I glance up at McCullough, she merely stares at me with wide, horrified eyes.
Don't listen to it! No matter what happens, don't do what it says!
Yeah, that's how you survived. Right.
It's how it gets us.
My grip on the shards falters, but only after I nod and drop it entirely does she release her grip. Afterwards, she simply steps back and looks away, hugging her arms closer to herself. She breathes a sigh, heavy. Perhaps weighted with her own guilt, what this monster might have used against her.
Come on, we're getting close.
She walks up without another comment, and there's worry in her eyes. She gives the fragments one last glimpse. On the ground, they lie lifeless now. No more voices, no more insults. But even as I walk away, one whispered taunt continues to ring in my ears.
It's useless, Ashton Frey. You are going to die.
And you are going to die alone.
Oh, that's nasty. A fear. One that has been long kept in the darkest place in my heart. One that a small part of me wishes for. The trapdoor swings open without much fuss, but let's check the journal. Yeah. Before you could go deeper into the wine cellar, Ashton began to hear voices coming from the mirror shards on the floor. That is incorrectly written. Mocking him for his failures. Though before he could do anything rash, Marianne stopped him. Belatedly, he realized he had picked up a broken mirror shard. The trapdoor swings open without a fuss. It isn't even locked, probably left open for when the right asks for some midnight snack. I make sure the coast is clear, of course, before I pull myself and help McCullough up. The butler of theirs is nowhere to be seen. He's probably sleeping, attending to his master or doing some extra late night work before turning it for the night. Meanwhile, Wright won't touch anything to do with the menial chores, not even with a 10-foot pole. It's next to impossible for him to linger here. No servants, no anyone. And, just as easy as that, we're in. Gently I close the hatch. If things go well, the same path will be our way out. If our luck doesn't hold, that's not an option now, is it? I have people waiting for me. I really don't want to think about what might happen. Sometimes, it's best if we simply revel in the little victories. They're great blessings when everything else is going against you. And, in a place like this fraught with unknown dangers, it's a feeling that lasts only but a second. Suddenly, a sob. Ringing out from some distant part of the house, echoing through its empty halls. Beside me, slumped on the ground, pale and breathing heavily, McCullough immediately tenses. Her eyes goes wide as she grips the side of the counter with a force that might be enough to crack it, if only she has the strength. As it is, she can barely stand. She hasn't fully recovered. Makes sense of the 3 or more days without proper food or water. And it's this weakness that puts the fear in her eyes. She's aware. If something happens, if there's a need to run, she won't be able to. She's a liability at this point.
Holmes, I really don't think going any further is a good idea. Look at this place. Everything seems fine. Nothing's off. Maybe we should just go? I really don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, no, that's the sound of a ghost. You can go. I won't judge you. But have some water at least first. You haven't had water in 3 days. You are on the brink of death already.
You really don't have to come with me. Just until the kitchen, yeah?
We are in the kitchen.
We're already here. You've done your part. From here on, I'm going on my own.
Yes, I said that, but...
Can you even stand?
She doesn't answer.
You'll only be putting yourself in more danger if you follow after me. You have an easy way out of here. Stay here. Once you're okay, I need you to get yourself out of this place.
What? I'm not going to leave you!
Well, I'm not taking you with me either, lady. So it's here or out there.
You really are mad, aren't you?
Yeah, that he is. He is a bit of an idiot, but he's also correct.
Probably all will be, if no one fixes this little curse problem we have.
You think you'll find something in here? This is just a mansion, for God's sake!
Maybe. It's worth a shot. Besides, if what we're hearing right now says anything, I'd say scumbags.
Who?
Right. He might be knee-deep in trouble and he has no idea about it.
McCullough still appears as if she's about to argue. So instead of more words, I unholster my taser and hand it to her. A standard issue for every member of Luxembourg police force, but it shouldn't take a genius to know how to aim and fire one. Even Isabella may just be able to use it without training. Yet, Miss Interior Design Extraordinaire stares at it as if I just handed her something particularly nasty.
Listen, you want to wait? Fine. I'm leaving this with you. But if I don't come back here within 15 minutes, I want you to backtrack and get the hell out of here.
Are you daft, Holmes? I already told you!
In case something goes wrong, I need someone who can tell people what's going on. Who can tell my friend what might have happened here. She's at the crawl. You know the place, right?
I trail off, letting the meaning of my words hang in the air. I want to be optimistic about this, really. However, I'm going against something almost everyone can't quite understand. I'm just being realistic with my chances. McCullough seems to understand this as well after what I've said. Any sign of protest has already died from her tongue, and she simply looks at the taser quietly. After a moment, she just nods. Beyond the walls of this room, the cries continues to grow louder, and I take it as a sign to leave. Without another word, I slip out the door. Many updates, many journal updates here. Upon reaching the kitchen, the crying... Oh, the crying Ashton heard, okay. Not the crying Ashton. From outside began anew. Unwilling to risk a civilian, the detective handed Marianne his taser and advised her to leave him if he didn't return after 15 minutes. Even if he, himself, was uncertain if he would. Like a siren call, her voice beckons. Finding out who that is seems as good a place to start as any. Oh, we are following the voice, huh? I keep to the shadows for the most part. Not that there's any need. The entire place just feels empty. Odd, when a house this big should have a large staff. You'd think there'll be one or two roaming about for some late night chores, or someone seeking out whoever's creating this ruckus. There's none, however.
Shouldn't they have security posted inside as well?
Unless the security means the butler, though I doubt Scumbag's that sloppy. He loves his life more than anything. Probably more than his own wife. And the thing is done, he's bound to make more than an enemy or two. He's also the kind who'll do anything to keep himself safe. Alive.
I wonder what he'll say when he finds out that there's something not human living with him in his own house.
I think he actually is aware of it. And that is why he hasn't really acted upon it yet. But I think he is aware that something is not right. He has an idea. Because the ghost is attached to him. He does look like Mr. Ermengarde, kind of. So I think the ghost is in love with him because of the likeness. And we haven't seen it yet. Because Luke is not important right now. But I think he's been visited quite a few times without being harmed. That's my theory at the moment. So I think he knows. But refuses to accept it. Potential dangers aside, being on my own grants me a greater degree of mobility, which I'm more comfortable with. Sure, I could have enlisted McCullough's help. Next to the people who owns this, she's probably the one who's most familiar with the mansion. But the cons of bringing her outweighs the pros. She's better off somewhere a quick exit in sight. With no tag-along, I only have to worry about myself, watch my back. Selfish, I know.
But necessary.
In the same manner this whole plan is, no matter how idiotic going into this is. Besides, I don't really need a guide when the house layout is fairly simple. I almost mirrored with only a few modifications in the room. Although I've only been here once, I think I already have a good grasp of this place ins and outs. As long as you can tell which is east and west, it shouldn't be hard to find my way around. After the dining room, the main foyer should be the next thing that greets me, where the woman's cries are leading me. Honestly, after what happened outside, I'm not even sure if I should be trusting what I'm hearing. But with the whole house somehow seemingly devoid of any of its inhabitants, I'm inclined to look into this. More than surviving this curse, a huge part of this is my training speaking.
I just hope this isn't a crime scene I'm walking into.
But nothing's ever that simple, isn't it? But nothing's ever that... Okay. From what I understand, it is a small grammar mistake. This is a negative, which means this should be a positive, is it? But nothing's ever that simple, is it? Not double negatives. That's how I understand it. From elementary school. Not when you're dealing with the supernatural. Nope. Because as soon as my feet crosses the next room, something shifts. In a flash, nearly without fanfare. It happens in the blink of an eye. I almost miss it. One moment, there's red. In the next, I'm standing alone in the foyer. Oh, well, that's nasty. For a brief instant, I pause, glancing wildly around the place, blinking twice as if my movements would spur the vision back. Yet, nothing. No blood dripping on the walls, none trailing down the stairs or pooled on the floor, no eyes watching my every movement. Only the same cries gradually growing in intensity the longer I dally, along with a voice. That's the first time we hear that. Didn't really sound like the ghost either. Desperate.
Where are you, Mother?
Pleading. It's not Hana, is it?
Mother, please. I don't want to be alone.
Oh no, this is Miss Ermengarde. Coming from the same direction I've heard the cries from. Upstairs. The place not entirely empty then. A better question now is who? But she was the one who tortured people. She shouldn't be missing her parents, does she? Is it the ghost? Definitely not Scumbag or the butler. I've yet to see hide nor hair of them, and not knowing their whereabouts puts me on the edge. I have to be careful not to make any noise or to be seen. Maybe the wife, though one can't really tell if it's her, the way the walls echo her voice. Nevertheless, it pushes me to move. Taking almost 2 steps at a time, despite the sickening feeling that something's lurking behind every great shadow, every small corner I pass. As if the house has several eyes watching my every movement. As if something's alive dwells behind the walls itself. Well, fuck you. It just stops like that? It just... Okay, so it appeared right as we left the room. Just like the lockers in the school during Rebecca's chapter. I hate that kind of shit. Because that just means that something is happening. But the one who's being haunted doesn't know that. I try to shake it off. Upon reaching the kitchen, the crying Ashton heard from outside began anew. On alert to continue deeper into the mansion, even if he was uncertain if he would get out of the place alive. I tried to shake it off, but the uneasy sensation has already made home at the pit of my stomach. Red, and it only grows deeper the closer I get to her. The relative emptiness of the place doesn't help either. Neither does the harsh wind battering the windows nor the sheets of rain pelting down the roof. For a fleeting second, I find myself wishing for Scumbag to simply show up. I don't get too far down into that train of thought. Abruptly, the cries stop, replacing it with...
Please. She's here. She's here, Mother. She's going to take me.
This goes along with the help me. But I don't understand what's going on.
She won't leave, Mother.
She won't leave. Yeah, I think this might be Miss Ermengarde. After killing her slave, she came back to haunt her. And everyone who owns this house, essentially. And this is her death plea.
I don't want to go with her. Tell her to go away. Mother! Mother, she's here! Help!
That can't be good. Adrenaline now comes me in a rush. In no 2 heartbeats, my feet's already moving before any sense can catch up or doubt creeps up to me. My hands ready on the holster as I hastily set off for the far side of the hall. One alarmed footstep after another, while struggling to keep the sense of panic at bay. A door lays ajar at the end and coming from the floor above.
She's going to hurt me! Help me!
Don't do what the voices tell you! I do not hesitate. Moving in, despite the lack of light, the steep stairs, or the thick layer of dust kicking up with my every step. I paused only a moment upon reaching the top. Then, without wasting a second, I pushed the door open. Yeah, Miss Ermengarde. She sits in the middle of the room, shoulders hunched, shaking. Her hands cover her face as she weeps, oblivious to my presence. It's as if she is heard in neither my footstep nor the soft creaking on the door, continuing, undisturbed, like I'm standing in a time far removed from her. She doesn't even flinch when I call out to her.
Hey, are you alright?
Mother, I've done it, Mother. Take me with you, please.
I've done it.
I can still hear her. She's here.
So it wasn't just mindless slaughter, it was some kind of ritual. You wanted to go wherever your mother is, something like that. You wanted to bring your mother home to the living world.
Help me! Help me, please!
Belatedly, I noticed the blood on her hands. If it's the same one drenching the whole attic, I'd rather not know. How the whole room has ended up like this is the least of my problems at the moment. Even a single human body doesn't have this much blood. So, bodies. The thought sends an unpleasant twinge in my stomach. Does Wright even know about this? It's bad news, alright. But this? This is beneath him. He'll definitely balk at first sight of it. Anyone will. Yet the woman lingers here, unmoved by the sight, letting her sobs fill the room, repeating the words over and over again like a prayer of salvation. To whom? The mess of parchment she has left on the floor? Yes, what? Yes, what the hell is happening?
Hey, lady, are you?
The rest of the question never makes it out. I don't even see it coming. Yeah, she's gonna attack. Should have been more aware and on guard, really. No, we're knocked unconscious! And there's a little I can do when a well-placed blow to the back of my knees make me stumble. The momentum alone sends me reeling forward. This is new music. As I said, a lot of updates here. Oh, that is nasty. The sobs led Ash into the mansion attic. In the middle of the room, we found a woman crouched on the floor, crying. Cautiously, he approached her, but as he was about to reach out to her, someone grabs him from behind. It barely even registers in my head that the woman has gone in the room as normal as it can be. Not above the pain suddenly shooting up my side when I hit the floor. I don't even get the chance to get my bearings back when a hard enough blow to the stomach causes me to buckle down and land heavily on my knees. Gasping, I fumble wildly for my gun. Although before I'm able to turn, level it and shoot, a hand grabs my wrist and twists it. Hard. A gasp. A grunt. A cry of pain slips past my mouth. The gun falls to the floor with a thunk. And the only one we know who can do this kind of thing would be Joe Hans, the butler. As soon as it lands, a foot kicks it out of my reach and it slides uselessly under the bed. Agony suddenly explodes in my shin, jerking loose a sharp cry of pain as stars fill the edges of my vision. A brief moment of regret hits me for leaving my taser with McCullough when a piece of cloth closes around my neck. It's gonna strangle me? Without warning, my attacker pulls. Tight. I'm left gasping, choking and clawing for air, blindly reaching behind me as I still try to fight him off and loosen the pressure on my neck. Except any sort of movement only causes him to pull it taut.
My, so many rats scurrying about in this mansion lately.
Wright's butler. Shit.
Tell me, what did you do with the madam?
I'm sorry, what now? I have no idea what he's talking about. Did something happen to Hannah Wright?
Let go, you asshole.
Now, Doomkopf, you're in no position to be rude. Last time I checked, I'm not the one breaking into other people's homes. Now answer my question. What did you do with the madam?
The pain rings and resonates through my already sore body. Still, I manage to write it out and spit a mutinous.
You. Keep that dirty mouth babbling and you're getting a knife in the kidney. I assure you, it will be more painful than this.
He really doesn't need to threaten me by now. Yeah, and he was a surgeon, right? So he knows how to do that shit too. Mood logic. It's all too much to bear at this point. My lungs feel like they're burning with a lack of air. Dark spots begin to fill the edges of my vision. Ever so slowly, the world around me dims. My consciousness rapidly slips away from me. And without meaning to...
Get away from him!
Isabella! Hearing that voice, it's as if I've been doused with a bucket full of ice, cold water, familiar. Too familiar. And more importantly, it shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be hearing it here. She shouldn't be here. Immediately my eyes snap open. Ho 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 ho! Just look at this! Motherfucker. And right there, right on the attic's doorway, stands Isabella, of all people. A rolling pin in one hand and a standard issue police taser on the other. My taser. She must have borrowed it from Akolo. Where else could she have gotten one? I doubt she has ever used one even. Hell, the way she holds it right now, this guy can easily disarm her in one hit. But there's something in her. In her eyes. Yeah, I can see that too. Her eyes are not normal. Although there's a look of fear in them and her hand shakes. She keeps the weapon trained and pointed at Scumbag's lackey. Untrained or not, she does not have plan to leave here without putting up a fight, it seems. Admirable, really. But it's just not the same. But it's just not something we need right now. I need her to be away from me. I need her safe. But the chance of that happening grows slim with every laughter that slips from him.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. The Bratwurst won't be pleased with the number of bodies we have to dispose of today, you know. Tell me, how many of you are there? So I can prepare the proper number of bags.
Okay, so I did kind of expect him to have some role in this. Because he was simply... There was something off with him. I don't really know how to put it into words. But I did not expect him to be an ice-cold killer. I was fantasizing with the idea that he's the one behind the ghost. But no, I just think he's an ice-cold killer right now. Damn it! What the fuck is going on? Why is she here in the first place? Did she follow after me? Panic surges within me. She knows how the bad situation is. But did she really have to run in here and expose herself like that? Does she even know how to use a taser? Fuck's sake! More than worrying for my life, it's her I'm concerned about. Getting strangled, dying by choking isn't part of the plan, but her following me here isn't either. This is why I prefer to do things alone. This is why I'd rather be the only one to take the consequences. I don't even want to think what this bastard might do to her after he's done with me. Though my voice comes off nearly a croak, I try to tell her as much. She has to leave. Stay far away from here and these people.
Don't! Damn it, Isabella! Get out of here!
Another bout of pain erupts in my side, cutting off my words. A cry of agony bursts from my mouth. I can taste blood in my tongue as I heave, attempting to get in as much air despite the towel still coiled around my neck. And also, why is the butler doing this? Why is Johans doing it? He should recognize us. Ashton, maybe not so much. But Isabella, you should recognize Isabella. Well, not that you can do that much now that you're already strangling a guy in front of her. She is a witness that needs to be silenced, in a sense.
Ash?
You're going to lose air quickly that way, Dummkopf. Better keep it shut.
Get out. 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 Val!
Don't be stupid! I'm not leaving you here!
He laughs. Too cruel. Too unforgiving. The way each note beats against my ears, in spite of the warmth in them, sends chills down my spine. This is a man whose hands have already been stained with blood before. He won't hesitate.
I'd follow his advice if I were you, little girl. What could you possibly do with a toy? Just hand it over and be on your way. It'll probably be too difficult for a little girl like you to use.
There's a moment of silence. Fuck! I can barely keep my eyes open. But in the next second, though I still don't exactly understand what's happening, Isabella shouts. Not a cry of pain. Be saved by the person you least expect. Not a yell of panic, but one that's resolute. Firm. Perhaps in a tone that leaves fiercer than any I've heard from her before.
Try me! Ashton, duck!
He can't! He's in a quite tight spot. I do. More out of instinct than desire to survive, closing my eyes before my mind can fully process what's going on. It all happens in a blur. The telltale sounds of a taser being discharged resound through the room. The air crackles. Something whistles by, almost too close to my ear, followed by the thud of something blunt connecting solidly with another object. The next thing I know, the towel strangling me has started to loosen. I collapse on the floor, dazed and gasping for air. Ashton attempts to fight back, but his attacker quickly disarmed him, looping a towel around his neck and strangling him. But just when he's about to lose consciousness, a familiar voice rings in the room. And that is where I cut off for today's episode. So, just how guilty is Johans the Butler? That is something we will find out in the next episode. If you want to watch more of this gameplay, you have to come back in the future. And remember, just because you're not the main character, it doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.